Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. I was gonna honk for my neighbor, but then I remembered I'm recording, so honking right now would not be a good thing. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. It is I, Jay, and I'd like to welcome you to another day in the daily life of Jay. Today is Thursday, November 12th, 2020, and it is 8:13 in the a.m. And as per usual, I am headed to work. Headed to work. One of these days, I'll be able to say all of that and then say, and I am at work while I'm sitting in my home office doing my thing. You heard me? Yeah, that is going to happen someday soon. And when I say soon, I mean it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. I do know that it's going to happen, and it's all in God's timing. I am just preparing myself for when that time comes. So, I suggest you do the same. We put these time frames on things, and sometimes we need to put time frames on things. We need to put deadlines on things. Absolutely. But sometimes we put deadlines on things that we have no control over. Because we could do everything that we're supposed to do and do it well, and then it still doesn't happen. So, that's a God's timing kind of thing. That's a God's timing kind of thing. So do everything that it is that you're supposed to do to be prepared for when soon does happen. Do that. Do that. So, the sun is shining bright on my pretty brown face, but it's also blinding me. It is also blinding me. So how was your evening? How did your evening go? I hope that it went well. I hope that it was everything that you needed it to be. I hope that you got some great rest. I really do. For the most part, I got some decent rest. At one point in the night, towards the morning, I'm laying on my side, and my arm is rested on my side. So I'm lying on my right side. My arm is rested on my left side. And the husband, who has all of the room in the world on the bed, decides to lay right up against me and shove my arm off of my side so he could rest his arm on it. Anybody else experience this with their partner? Anybody else? It's the strangest thing to me. And I understand, that biblically, my body is his body is my body. But if my arm is already sitting on my side and resting comfortably, who said you can move it out the way? Like, he literally shoved my arm off of my side so that he could rest his arm on my side. I swear, I'm just a comfy pillow to him. That's what I am, a comfy pillow. for the most part, I slept pretty good. But that I do recall happening. It's like, my goodness. And this isn't, I mean, he does weird stuff like this all the time. This isn't the first time he's done something weird. Like, I told you, I sleep top to bottom. He likes to sleep side to side. There are times when I'm sleeping top to bottom and I'm on my side because I'm a side sleeper, specifically a right side sleeper, which is why I have no right hip. And he'll rest his head on my butt, use my butt as a pillow. So now we're in T formation. We look like the capital letter T, because that's how he's decided to rest. So bonkers. But yeah, so I gotta turn this off. It's hot in here now. So I did sleep for the most part pretty well. And I'm grateful for that. And I did it without taking anything. I did not take my melatonin. I don't like to take it every night. Just because I don't want to become dependent upon it for a good night's sleep. So I might do a night on and a night off. I might do a night on and 2 nights off. I just don't want to become dependent upon taking something so I can get a good night's sleep. Yeah, so I am, like I said, headed to work. Yesterday was a good day at work. Today is going to be an even better day at work. I was trying to mail out this book yesterday that should have gone out Saturday. The book that I've been trying to mail out since Saturday. And yesterday was Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day, related to all of those who are veterans. I have some in my family. I have some in my friends group, my actual friends, not just my Facebook friends, my actual friends, associates, acquaintances, and such. So I go to the post office. I find one that is closer to our office, and I get there and I walk in and I'm like, why is the door closed? What's that all about? And then I remember, it's Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day. So yeah, it should be closed. So I'm going to try again today, but then I also have to find a box to send my grandson his stuff. I'm not going to be sending his stuff today. I just need to find a box big enough for his stuff, because I have to get his brother some stuff too. We have adopted his brother as our own, even though his brother has grandparents. But we just don't believe in, like, necessarily excluding the children. As much as we possibly can, we don't like to exclude the other children. That's just not how I was brought up, and that's not how I brought my children up. So, gotta find his little brother something. And then with my granddaughter, I don't know what we're getting her for Christmas. Her mom never answered my text. But then she went to my son and said some really nasty things. So I'm not going to reach out to her. I'm just going to find something to send my granddaughter. And her big sister, who we thought was our granddaughter. I think I've told you all this. We thought that the big sister was ours, and we found out that she was not. And instead of my son saying, okay, I'm done, you got me, you tried to get me, he went back to her, and then they did actually make a baby. So our actual granddaughter has a big sister that we participated in the first year of her life. So even though she does not remember us 100%, we still treat her as our own. And then the young lady had 2 more children after our granddaughter. So we are going to make sure that we get our granddaughter some stuff, and then get her siblings some stuff, and just send it for Christmas. Just ship it for Christmas. I am just concerned that she won't get it. Isn't it sad? Because we've sent things before, and we don't know if she actually got it or not, because her mom never acknowledged that she ever received it. So we don't know if she actually ever got it, and we've never seen pictures of her in it. And we've sent something since then, and we know that she got it because her mom at that moment was actually feeling kind, and allowed us to see that she had received the items, and she was dressed in them and took pictures of them and all that stuff. So, and we typically get clothing. That's typically what we get, simply because they've got a lot of toys. They've got a lot of toys. A lot of toys. The girls had toys way before the boys. I mean, a ton of toys way before the boys came along. So they've got a lot of toys. So we don't buy toys unless it's something that is geared towards their interest. And what do I mean by that? Like for my grandson, he's an artist. So we have purchased things that are geared towards him being an artist. And his little brother likes to do anything that his big brother does. So we're going to buy him toys that are geared towards being artistic. That's what I mean by buying toys geared towards what they're interested in. So if my granddaughter were really interested in being, let's say, a hairstylist, a nail technician, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, we would find toys that were geared towards that and purchase those things for her. But because we have no clue what she's interested in other than being a little girl, which is where she should be right now, and because we don't have a super tight relationship with her, we can't see firsthand what she might be interested in. So we just buy her clothes because she's a growing girl. She's a big girl. She is 6, and she's wearing clothing that her big sister can actually fit as well. And so we buy her clothing because we know that she outgrows clothes quite a bit. If her and her sister are wearing the same size, yes, they can share clothing, but she needs her own. So we buy her clothing, and once we develop a better one-on-one relationship with her and figure out or discover what it is that she's interested in, we'll start purchasing things that are geared more towards that. I'm all about development, and fun development as well. I'm all about learning, and learning being fun. So we'll do that when the time comes. Like I said, for my grandson, we know that he's an artist. I mean, when he spent the summer with us, the majority of the summer with us, a good portion of the summer, we'll say the majority. He spent a good portion of the summer with us. And his mom told us that he could draw, but all kids try to draw. All kids try it. But then when I actually saw his work, I was like, oh, this isn't just a regular 5-year-old, 6-year-old scribble. This is good. This is good. So I said from that point, until he finds another interest, we're going to nurture that one. So that's what we do. And he's also interested in, because he watches a lot of the children channels on YouTube, and he's extremely animated. He's very interested in producing videos for other children about different things, toys and things like that. So these cars are just zooming through here like they don't understand. So I told his mom that for Christmas we would get him a mic, because he's very interested in doing that. So whatever we can do to nurture that, we're going to do. I mean, and I tried to do the same thing for my kids. When we didn't know what my oldest son was going to be, and my oldest son is the father of these children, we didn't know what he wanted to be. And then when he finally said to me, I want to be a rapper, I was like, okay, fine, be a rapper, but what else do you want to be? What else can you be? What else would you like to be outside of that? Because if rap doesn't pan out, you still got bills to pay. So what would you like to be? He didn't know. So I just encouraged him to learn as much as he could. And if he was going to rap, be a rapper. But, and yes, I said but, be a rapper, but know that outside of that, there are other things that you can do. Because I don't know the statistics, but I would think that the majority of the young men that say that they want to be rappers don't actually ever make it as a rapper. And I think some of the ones that are rappers now are rappers because they had a different lifestyle, and that lifestyle paid for them to produce EPs so that they can get themselves out there in the public. And I don't have to say any more than that, because you know what I mean by other lifestyles that paid for. And that wasn't my son's life. Not to say that he was a perfect child, because he was not. He did have his venture into the other lifestyle, but he knew that I would break his neck. That's not what we do. And hey, for anybody that's doing it, do it. I mean, if it works for you, I don't condone the illegal activity, but if it works for you, hey. But that's not how I raised my children. That's not an option that I wanted them to lean on. That's why I took them different places, so that they could see a different lifestyle and know that something outside of what we saw every day was possible, you know. But anyway, we didn't really know what he wanted to do, so I couldn't really nurture that. I could really only encourage him to be whatever it was he was meant to be. My middle son, we knew that he was an artist, so I did those things that I could do to encourage that. You know, he needed art supplies, pens, things of that nature. Because I'm a pseudo artist myself, I know what that looks like and feels like. So when I bought art supplies for me, I would, you know, whatever I was using before, I would make sure he got, so that he could get used to using something other than a regular pencil and a regular ballpoint pen. Like for my design courses, when I took interior design, I had to buy some of the most expensive pieces of ink distributors possible. Yes, pens. And I ended up giving them all to him at one point, because he's an artist and he could use them more than I could at that time. And then with my youngest, who's a singer, I did everything I could to encourage that. So I believe in nurturing those things that they're interested in. Like my grandparents did it for me. When I was interested in piano, they bought me a keyboard. When I was interested in choir, they encouraged me to do the things that it would take to become a good singer. And the unfortunate thing is I froze during an audition to join the choir and did not become a member of the choir. Not that I don't have a voice, I froze. And I would sing all the time, but I froze during the audition, and therefore I did not become a member of our school choir. And from that point, I was quite honestly traumatized. Not because I froze, because that happens. I wasn't traumatized by the freezing. I was traumatized by the instructor's reaction to my freezing. Isn't that sad? I was traumatized by her reaction to my freezing. It was not a pleasant reaction. As a matter of fact, it was quite a belittling reaction to my freezing up in fear for singing in front of someone for the first time. Because I would sing around the house, and I would sing loud enough for my mom to hear me, and I would ask if she thought I was okay. But to actually sing in front of someone that I did not live with for something as big as a school choir, in that moment, that was huge to me. And to have my instructor react so nastily and negatively, I was traumatized by that. So I just, from that point on, did not take any type of singing lesson whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I even stopped playing the piano. That's just how traumatized I was, because she was also one of the piano instructors. And although she wasn't my piano instructor, I was that traumatized that I just stopped. Period. Stopped. So yeah, my husband and I do the things that we can to nurture their interest, so that they, even if they come up against the obstacles, they know that they've still got somebody in their corner that supports them however we can. So I don't know how I got on this path. I can't even tell you where the beginning of that started. But I will say this. If you have children that are interested in certain things, as best you can, nurture those things. As best you can, nurture those things, because you do not know what they will become with the right nurturing, support, and encouragement. You do not know. So yeah, nurture those things. And if you were one that was ever interested in something and didn't have someone to support you in the way that you needed it, I'm so sorry. And I pray that you get that support. I pray that you get that support. And if you were traumatized by someone who was a butthole, then do your best to overcome it. I overcame it, and I wanted to take voice lessons from a young lady that I was in a play with, but our schedules never wrapped up or came together so that I could, but I wanted it. So I'm going to go into this post office because I got to get this book sent out, and I will talk with you guys later. Peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.